What is up, guys? In today's video we're going to be spectating random players in Fortnite Zero Build. As always, if you guys do find this helpful, informative, interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and comment down below one thing you hope to see change next season, or what you think about kind of the rumors for next season. I did post a video a few days ago. I think I'm going to post this on Sunday, and I posted a video on Friday of kind of like what we know about Season 2 of Chapter 5 thus far, and I'm pretty excited for the theme of next season and to see kind of how they tease and build up next season in between now and then, because we are about 2 weeks away from the launch of Chapter 5 Season 2, which is super exciting. Where can we land this game? I kind of want to go hazy. Kind of want to go fencing. I think I might have gone fencing for the last one of these videos I made, but like typically the boss locations are, I think, going to kind of give us the chance to spectate a lot of the more like active, you know, aggressive players in the lobby. But you never know, because these vault POIs can also be like very ratty. It goes both ways. But if I wanted to get a high kill game, I would land fencing right now. Usually this is the most like chaotic POI for me when I play. Kill me. Thank you. On board with Jimmy Kimmy 74. Gave me a little teabag afterwards. And he's got the press F to pay respects emblem on his cape. This is a rough fight, but oh dang, I was gonna say he has right shoulder peak. He only has a pump, so it's like weird to fight, but he does have right shoulder peak, so like the best he can get out of that scenario for having only a pump. And he did almost get that elimination despite choking, I think, his first shot, or maybe even two of the shots on that fight. So just had a little bit of better aim in that situation. That fight was definitely winnable, despite it being a weird fight with him only having a pump shotgun. No Anonymous is going to be here. They got a pizza. They got extra slices. They got the pump and an AR. Personally, I would rather use that striker instead of the Nemesis, but I don't think the Nemesis is terrible either. I would much rather have that auto shotgun over the pump this season, unfortunately. And that probably would be the thing that I hope to see change most next season, is just the shotgun meta. I think the game is a lot more skillful when the pump shotgun is the meta. And for me, that makes it kind of more fun and rewarding to play. And if you guys didn't know, you can mantle through windows that have shutters like that. I actually didn't know that until recently. One of my friends told me. And I was like confused as to what they were even talking about. But yeah, those windows that are shut with shutters, you can just mantle through them. And I can't be the only person that recently learned about this, so let me know in the comments below as well if you knew that was a thing. And that could definitely help in this situation if you have somebody like, you know, if you're in this attic and you're getting pushed, or, you know, you have somebody camping the attic. Being able to mantle or break those shutters like that can definitely make your life a little bit easier. And I was completely oblivious to that being a thing. Now we're going to be on board with Anonymous Renegade Raider. Hopefully this player plays a bit aggressive and is interesting to watch. They do have Renegade Raider, which is one of the more rare skins in the game. If you guys weren't around back in the early days, before there was a battle pass, there was the season shop. And the way it worked is you would have to get to a certain level. And then once you reach that level, you could buy things from the season shop. And Renegade Raider was one of those season shop skins. They're going to go leave this area and I think just reset. And heal up a bit, and then probably go back for the POI. Which is a decent play to get those barrels, but they all might have thought they were getting pushed by an actual player, and then once it turned out to be an AI, they, you know, figured, okay, I can go back. I really don't like the auto shotgun meta, though, like I was saying. And the previous 2 kills we saw, I feel like kind of show that. Both of them were just kind of like coin flip auto shotgun fights, and I really think either player could have won it. And you definitely, you know, want to avoid those 50-50s if possible, but there's times where it's just going to happen. You know, someone jumps on you and is barrel stuffing you with an auto, and then, you know, it is what it is at that point. And for whatever reason this season, it seems like there's a lot of players kind of just playing to make that happen at all times. But like I was saying earlier about this player being Renegade Raider and this being one of the more rare skins in game, that leads me to believe they're probably going to be, you know, solid at the game. It's not always the case that somebody having a rare skin makes them, you know, cracked or very good. But if they've been playing the game since the first month it was out, they're probably pretty, you know, experienced with the game. Especially if they've been playing the whole time. I think of the initial rare skins, this one or Pink Gold Trooper would be the one I wish I had most. Because I was playing back in the day. I started playing Fortnite the second day it came out. I think I installed it the first day BR came out. And then, like, installed it overnight and was like, I'll just play it tomorrow, you know? But I didn't buy skins until Season 2. The first skin I ever bought was Codename Elf. This is good. This is a winning fight for him. The way he played that pillar was, like, perfect. He's playing right shoulder peek off the pillar. That, like, dragon thing is just standing out in the open. Hits a nice pump shot. And then just stays behind his pillar. Like, he doesn't have to do anything during his pump animation, you know? He's trying to bait this other player. This is also good. I'm excited to watch this player. He heard this player coming and then decided to bait that. And then look to put themselves at a right shoulder peek to, like, make a play on this visitor. So he hears this visitor coming, fakes like he's breaking gold in the vault, and then immediately puts himself in a spot to capitalize on that visitor trying to rush him. Unfortunately, they lose the fight, and I think that's totally just down to the auto shotgun being the auto shotgun. And that's the unfortunate aspect of this season's meta. I think that Renegade Raider played the fight very well. I liked what they were doing. I understand what they're doing, like trying to bait this visitor. But that's this season. Unfortunately, the auto shotgun is the auto shotgun, and you can kind of have anybody lose to anybody at any time. We don't really know much about this visitor. They might be a very good player themselves, but it's just there's not a lot of skill expression in just like barrel stuffing somebody with the auto shotgun, and that is like the ideal way to play with the weapon and kind of the ideal way to play the season. So I don't fault this player for playing like that, but that's goes back to what I was saying before about like how I wish the game had like a pump meta. This visitor hears another person coming, but unlike the Renegade Raider, he's staying in the vault and is playing off a left shoulder peek entirely. Maybe not as much anymore, but the reason why right shoulder peek is so good is because if you just go into game and try this, you have to expose less of your character to peek from the right than to peek from the left. And anytime you're fighting in any area, just maximizing the times where you have right shoulder peek is going to have a huge impact on your gameplay. Like if I could give one tip to every Fortnite player, you know, like if somebody's brand new to the game and is like, yo, give me one tip, it would just be to learn how to utilize right shoulder peek as much as possible. And we saw that the Renegade Raider do it very well in the fight versus the Dragon, and then they tried to do it in this fight versus the Visitor as well, but it was like a more of like an open area. They didn't have that pillar to kind of like play around and constantly reset the fight like how you need to do with a pump. This Visitor can still win this fight. Okay, they're just gonna leave. I think they still could have won that. Their shotgun needed to be reloaded, but they have an SMG. They chose not to pick up the AR, which I really like the Mythic Striker AR, but if they like the Nemesis more, that's kind of that's their opinion, you know. I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't know if there's any snipers in that vault or in that area, but I think not using a sniper this season is kind of questionable. Those snipers are very, very, very good. We're really late in the season, so like, you know, there's less than 2 weeks left at this point. If you don't want to learn how to snipe, maybe don't bother with it. But the meta of the season is gonna be what it is, you know. Like, you can't really change that. It's up to Epic. And if you've been playing this entire season and avoiding sniping, I think that's, you know, not the ideal way to play. We may or may not get a sniper meta next season. We'll see, but I'm just like, I don't even know what to say about this fight. It's just like people trading damage with the auto shotgun, so I'm trying to talk about snipers, and both of them, like, the struggle is real, you know what I'm saying? The Visitor has no more shotgun shells. If I was them, I would probably just want to go to the vault at this point and get more ammo and maybe get more loot, because the damage you've done to this other lady is kind of just gone at this point. You don't have a shotgun, and you know she has an auto shotgun. And like, he keeps playing it like he has an auto shotgun when he doesn't. I kind of hope he gets eliminated here. Okay, he wins the fight. But I think if you are out of shotgun shells there, you don't want to force the 50-50 auto shotgun fight. That is like the last thing you want. He is going to take the sniper. So that's good. But like I was trying to say before, this was the point I was trying to get to. The sniper meta this season was frustrating for a lot of players. But playing and not using snipers all season because you're not good with them yet, I think is a mistake that a lot of Fortnite players make. The meta in Fortnite is kind of always changing season to season, or even throughout the course of the season. And I think just learning what the meta is and trying to play it is going to be, you know, your best bet if you do want to play well in game. And it's one of those things where, like, once you've played for a while and played through several metas, I think it's easier to adapt. Like, this season had a sniper auto shotgun meta. If you didn't, you know, ever interact with snipers or try to play with snipers or get better with them, then, like, one, we don't know if they'll be in the game next season. They might still be in the game next season and be very good. But also, it's going to be even harder for you to adjust to a sniper meta next time it's in the game, you know? It's like kind of reminds me of like the putting like a square peg in a round hole or whatever, like that expression of like the shape toy thing that children have. Whatever the meta is, I think if you want to do well, probably best to play it. You definitely can play off meta and still win and do well, but you know, you're giving yourself the best chance by using the good stuff. Another right shoulder peek fight. Not really much to talk about. Visitor had right shoulder peek. They had first shot on that Nisha. GG's. Still almost lost that fight. I don't really like this Visitor's chances of winning. They might end up winning the game. You know, people surprise me in these videos. But from what we've seen thus far, I don't really like their chances. And I think with the auto shotgun, you don't need an SMG that much. I would like to see him have the sniper instead of the SMG. And that's kind of the point I was getting to. And with how good snipers are, if he's able to open some of these fights with like a sniper body shot and then go on the person with the auto shotty, that's going to make the fights way less random for him because he's fighting someone that's already very weak. And we'll see down. This should be a kill. He's doing the pickaxe trick. If you guys didn't know, if you swing your pickaxe as you get in a car and hold your pickaxe button, you will do damage to people through the car. Made a video a few weeks ago entirely about car fights. And he took advantage of it there. And that was like a decent time to take advantage of it because he already had that player weak. Also could have just like shot him through the windshield and the person driving the car would have gone down very quickly because they couldn't just like turn the car around there. They could have just like AR'd him. He's doing it again. And a lot of people, like, I guess just aren't aware of this or don't know how to respond to it. That Geno needs to get out as soon as like as soon as they start taking damage through the car. That Geno needs to get out there. This should be a kill. Nice. Okay. If you're in that situation and you're getting pickaxe through the car, you just want to jump out immediately because nothing is going to change. If you're the visitor there and you're pickaxing him, why would you stop? You know, you have to keep the pickaxe button held the entire time. So some people can kind of mess that up. But the visitor has no reason to stop. So if you're getting pickaxe through the car like that, you want to get out immediately and kind of... The other person is probably going to get out as well, and then you can maybe get back in and then hopefully be driving the car with them in it. But just taking pickaxe damage after pickaxe damage, like, isn't going to help you, you know? I think a lot of people are just kind of caught off guard and not aware of it. And that's kind of when it does best, is when the person who you're doing it to doesn't know it's a thing. Or if they're already weak. Because if somebody's full HP and you do it to them once, that like 20 damage isn't a big deal. Especially if you're slow to get out. Like I've had people do it to me where like they hit me once, I get out, and then I just start shooting them, and they're slow to get out, and they take like 2 or 3 auto shotgun shots to the face, and then they're back in the lobby, you know? So you have to be quick to react in these car like scenarios. What I wanted to say earlier as well, before like he got into the fight, was that like I want to see how he plays this in-game without a sniper if he does have to fight other people sniping. Because peeking into a sniper with an AR is rough. And that's another reason why snipers are so good. Oh, he dropped his AR for a sniper. Okay, he probably did that recently because he killed the guy with the Nemesis. I don't think that's the worst play in the world. I'm not that fond of the hyper SMG though. In builds this season, I do use pump sniper or pump burst SMG sniper. For zero builds, I prefer to use the striker AR, but I wouldn't mind using the burst SMG either. The hyper SMG, I'm just not like a big fan of, like I said before though. And this is kind of like what I was saying he could do earlier, where you hit a body shot and then you go on the person. This person is going to have healed a little bit off barrels, but they should still be relatively weak. They pad away, so GG's. That's that. That time is gone, and I don't think he should chase this necessarily. He can if he wanted to go over here anyways, but if he's too tunnel visioned on this chase, I think this is a bad thing. the damage he's done to that person kind of has gone away to an extent. Because they got some barrels, they've gotten their overshield back. They do have one medallion. And so if he's like thinking this person is still very weak, this could easily turn for him. And the more you're kind of tunnel visioned on chasing one player, I think the more likely it is that you just get like third party. This should be a kill though. He popped the block. Good job. It worked out, but I also think being okay with letting somebody you have weak get away when it's clearly they kind of reset the fight, I think is like a nice kind of habit to have. And I'm pretty bad at it myself. I definitely will like kind of tunnel vision and chase people a little bit too much sometimes. But it's just something you got to keep in mind. If a long time has passed since you did damage to them, they're not as weak as they once were. And the more you're kind of too worried about them, the more likely it is you just get third party by somebody else. He's capturing this point. I don't really think there's much of a reason to do this right now. They have fine loot. Maybe he's just doing it to doing it. But Fortnite actually did remove the ability for the island to scan people for whatever reason recently. And it's not back as of the time I'm making this video. It might be as of the time I post it. You never know with Epic Games. Also, is that a gold auto shotgun? I don't know why he's not taking that. Wait, did he hear me? The heck? But yeah, I don't know why they didn't take that gold auto shotgun. They have a purple one. They might not have attachments they like, but I don't think attachments on the auto shotgun are worthwhile enough to like impact how I feel about the rarity. Like even the mythic version doesn't have attachments that I like. I don't think there's a single attachment on there that I actually use on my own setup. But it's just like the higher base damage on the auto shotgun is nice, and like the attachments don't really change how I use the weapon too much. Not sure what he's doing. He's gonna rift again. I'm not sure what the point of this was. Now his mobility is gonna be on cooldown potentially by the time he lands. The player on that hill, right here. This hill is kind of the ideal spot to be, but this lobby is so dead that it kind of doesn't matter. There's 3 people remaining. Hopefully he doesn't get sniped out of the air. I'm not sure what he's doing, but I feel like he could go faster with the glider. It's just stressing me out. He's low ground, but low ground isn't the biggest disadvantage here because of like the way the terrain is. We'll see how he plays this. I would have gone to the shack and then tried to play like a right shoulder peek on this shack and then maybe catch that player up top over peeking. Got a fresh pizza. That's great and all, but... Okay, I guess he's just not going to engage with that player. Like, this fight, I think, is worse for him than if he played that shack. A lot of players, when they're on mountains like this, I feel like get overzealous because they have high ground and you can kind of catch them lacking. This is bad. If you're playing sniper fights, I feel like you don't want to just be standing out in the open like this, peeking over and over again. You want to be peeking different angles. If you're the player behind that rock there, you have a very easy time with just this visitor standing out in the open, pre-aiming one area, not kind of mixing up where they're peeking from. I feel like you want to be mixing up where you're peeking from and kind of every time you shoot, maybe reposition or peek like a different piece of cover. There's fighting going on here, so getting in position at third party is a good thing. That fight ended relatively quick though. This is bad. Again, just kind of standing in no man's land. Either get to like third party it or get away, but just kind of being there doesn't really do much for you. Not just in general, I think would be another big tip I would give people is just like decisiveness is so important in this game. What the play you're gonna do oftentimes doesn't even matter as long as you commit to it well. Like a bad play you commit to, I think is much better than kind of staggering out and doing nothing in the middle of the field, especially this season with how good snipers are. I kind of talked about earlier how like anybody can kill anybody with the auto shotgun in like those kind of close range fights, and I feel like the same is true with snipers. Anyone can hit a lucky shot. Obviously it does take skill, but like in the moment, you know, anyone can get lucky. And so making yourself an easy target for snipers will oftentimes backfire this season. Move up here. I don't know where that person went. They might be in one of the bushes. I think I hear a drift board. Like briefly. It's a 1v1v1. Oftentimes, the first two people that fight just get third-partied by the other. If you're not going to get a kill cleanly, you kind of don't want to. You never know, though. Sometimes it's an AI at the end. But, like, assuming it's all real players. Yeah, like, just making... You want to try to get a kill as cleanly as possible without getting third-partied. And kind of always being mindful of the fact that you're probably going to get third-partied. Also, this player has the medallions, so everybody in the lobby is going to have a general idea of where he is, but also be more concerned about him. I think that's one of the things that I like people with the medallions don't think about sometimes, is like, sure, people knowing where you are might not matter if you're driving around in a car or you're actively fighting, but in a situation like this, like let's say there's a person over here and then somebody more to the right as well, both of those players are probably going to be concerned about where he's coming from or the direction he's coming from because he is the one with the medallion. Just making people more concerned about you at all times, I feel like definitely can like backfire or make things harder for you than it needs to be. Especially like late rotating like this, he doesn't give himself much like room for error. I don't think late rotating is the worst decision though. Because like I touched on before, like when it's a 1v1v1, you know, the two people that fight often get third-partied. So just like kind of putting himself in a weird spot to where that's less likely to happen, I don't think is the worst decision. Areas I'd be concerned about here is like that hill to the left. I don't know if someone can be behind that rock. And then also this bush area over here. I think there's definitely likely somebody over here. Because we did see that player slide down the hill earlier. We just don't know what happened to them. What I would want to do here is when zone starts moving, turtle dash to that roof over there. Because I think zone is going that direction. Actually, it's not. I lied. It kind of is, though. Okay, yeah, no, it is going that way. So when zone's about to move, or like when it is moving, like maybe like right now, turtle dash to that roof and then kind of play accordingly. You don't want to peek too much, though, because snipers, like I said, and the fact that it's a 1v1v1. But putting yourself there would be nice. And doing it a little bit before zone started moving would have given his like dashes a little bit of time to regen. This is questionable. If somebody's in this bush, this isn't good. GG's. That was like such a needless 50-50, I think. Like, he put himself in a spot where if there's a player in that bush, he's going to get in a fight where he takes a lot of damage on edge of zone with it moving. Like I talked about before, you don't want to force a fight where you take a lot of damage when it's a 1v1v1 like this. If there's nobody in the bush, that's fine. But it is just such a needless risk, I think. 2 damage, this bird is going to have a hard time winning. And that, you know, is what I talked about with it being a 1v1v1. The two people that fight make it very easy for the other person to win. And I do think that guy was coming from that, that hill that I talked about. But that is going to be it for this video. As always, if you guys found this helpful, informative, interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more. Comment down below one thing you would like to see change next season or what you think of kind of next season's theme. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.